Is it never too late? When is the new Netflix season coming out? Have you ever ridden a motorcycle? How many times do you walk your dog? Did you do a video when you sat down with Jillian Harris? Where do you find the motivation to keep going when things don't go as you want? I love construction sites. Just love them. I love them. And before we drive, let's answer a couple questions. Good morning, everyone, and guess what? I am building a new house. No, I'm not actually building a new house, but I am doing a Q&A. And I'm gonna take the day today to answer as many questions as I possibly can. Now, we're starting the day in my house, in my townhome in North Vancouver. Little update for you. My husband and I have decided to list our townhouse. So we're just getting ready to do that now. We have one little repair that we're doing in the drywall. So that is in motion right now. And as soon as that gets fixed, we're listing our house. So we'll see, fingers crossed, what happens. So let's start with a few Instagram questions. First question. Is it never too late? No, my gosh, absolutely not. I love this question, and I get this question quite often because here on my channel, I like to talk about empowerment. I like to talk about going after your dreams and following your heart and making it happen and working hard in order to make it happen. So I often get the question, is it too late? I'm 40, is it too late? I'm 50, is it too late? I'm 30, is it too late? And my answer to that is no. It is never, ever, ever too late to pursue your dreams and go after what you want to. Sometimes I think it can be too early. Like you might be a little ahead of the game, but it's never, ever too late. When is the new Netflix season coming out? The show is done. We're not doing another season. And to be totally honest, right now, when you can't travel and go in and out of different countries, you can't fly a crew around the world, it would be almost impossible to film Restaurants on the Edge right now during COVID. What are your Asian influences, if any? So most of you guys know that I am half Chinese. I'm German Chinese. My mom is Chinese. And my mom and my grandparents immigrated to Canada when my mom was only 8 years old. Off the top of my head, I would say that I have been a big fan of Lucy Liu for a very long time. I love Mariana Hewitt. She is an influencer. I follow her on Instagram. And then I always look to Olivia Munn. I think she's beautiful, and I love Shay Mitchell. She's really cool too, and she's also half. And Canadian, actually. And from Vancouver, if I'm not mistaken. How long does your team spend on a proposal before sending it out? Well, the sales process can last for a very long time. From the time the client reaches out to us to the time that we have the proposal signed, sometimes that can be really short. It can be a matter of a couple weeks, and sometimes it can be really long. And I mean long, like 3 months. Maybe we're going back and forth a little bit. Maybe they're still securing the space that they want to build and design. Maybe there's a lot of details, or they're assembling the team. So there can be a lot of time from the initial phone call to the time that we're signing a proposal. This is a very relevant and pertinent question right now because we are actually streamlining our proposal writing processes. I've written a proposal as quickly as in 20 minutes because we have some great templates. And then the more complex and complicated projects can sometimes take a couple of hours to actually write the proposal. But it's very rare that we write a proposal and then it's just done and signed. There's always a lot of back and forth and negotiating that has to happen. I'm torn about listing my place, but I am really excited to do it. I will say that. I want to just point out a couple things in my kitchen that I absolutely love. I was thinking about this the other day. We put in this beverage fridge. I know this is like a little thing, but having a separate drink fridge is it's amazing. All of our wine, all of our beer, that all lives there because our fridge over here, I have no complaints about our fridge, but it is a little bit on the smaller side. And so if all of our beer and wine and stuff like that was in here, I feel like we would run out of space really fast. So I definitely love having a beverage fridge. I actually love the 2-drawer dishwasher. I would definitely put this in a house again. I love these Matri doors. They are probably a feature in the house that I look at and think to myself, I really love that we did this. I think that all the time. I just love the detail on the doors. But I think if I were to renovate a place again or build a place, I would consider using these doors again because I love them that much. Have you ever ridden a motorcycle? I have. Not in the front, in the back, but I have. What is the realistic timeline for building a successful business? I think it takes a good 5 years before you have a solid team, solid revenue, you're profitable. And in fact, I think that at least in my line of work, if you expect to be profitable before the 5-year mark, I don't know how possible that is. It takes a long time to really build a solid business. How do you unwind after work? How do you moderate and mitigate stress? I do drink a lot of wine. That gets me through the days and the weeks and the months. I think that being in a really good mindset and taking care of yourself mentally and physically is the number one way to mitigate stress. So what I mean by that is I like to wake up early. I like to do a little bit of yoga, meditation. Yesterday, for example, after work, I went for a really great hike with my husband and my dog. So getting out and being active, getting those endorphins going, that always keeps your stress levels in check. And I feel like if you can schedule time out, self-care days, stuff like that, long weekends, and be proactive about really managing your schedule, I think that helps to alleviate stress. So that and wine. Do you have a closet tour vlog? Ugh. Sorry guys, I've been asked this so much and it's my own fault, my own doing. I told you guys that I was gonna do a closet tour and then have never done one. Maybe I should still get that done. I'm not in love with my closet in this place. The washer dryer's in there. My husband convinced me to do that and I'm not happy with it. That said, maybe before we move, if we end up selling the place, I will do a closet tour with you. And on that note, you all know Chris Davis, the architect from the Ridden project. Well, Chris is working on a house in LA. We are gonna jump on the call right now to talk about this house because I'm gonna help him with it. So I'm doing a Q&A today. A young architect reached out and said, do you have any advice for young architects?
My advice would be find a firm that only does the work you like to do and find another income stream and make it a hobby.
That was a really exciting phone call. The architect from Ridden is taking on 2 really big house projects in Los Angeles. These are dream projects for an interior designer. You don't start your career or your business with these types of projects. You really work your way up to this. One of the questions that comes through quite frequently is how do you start an interior design business or how do you get your first client? And I've answered that question before, but just quickly to touch on that again, really getting your first client is the most challenging thing. And when I started my interior design business, the very, very, very first project that I ever did on my own was for a friend of mine who had a tiny studio apartment in Vancouver. It was 400 square feet. The extent of the renovation was helping her pick paint colors, switching out her flooring, and switching up some furniture. That was it. But in doing that, I at least got to do one thing, and it sort of led to another thing and another thing and another thing. I strongly recommend that you might have to do a lot of work for free or for very, very little in the beginning. That's to build up your portfolio, it's to build up your experience, it's to build up your client base, and you never know, you might work for free and that person happens to know someone else and is thrilled with the work that you've done and is happy to recommend you, and then you get your first paid gig. And if you're willing to do that, I do believe that that is an ingredient for success. Last question before we hit the road. How many times do you walk your dog? A day, Oscar goes out 2 bigger walks and usually 1 smaller walk in the middle of the day. So about 3 times a day. Okay, so JP and I are off. We're headed to Coquitlam because I have to check up on a site for a brand new project that we're working on. And before we drive, let's answer a couple questions. This one comes in from Instagram. Did you do a video when you sat down with Jillian Harris? Yes, we did do a video. We did do a video and I have not released it yet, but it is coming soon, so stay tuned. You are always so cheerful and calm when dealing with staff. Do you ever get angry or upset? I mean, yes, I get angry and upset. Of course, I'm human, like any boss, like any leader. I'm human. I do get angry and upset, but I am very mindful on how I deliver feedback and how I address situations. So I do temper my anger or being upset in order to deliver effective communication. That's really, really important. Do you have internship opportunities with your firm? The quick answer is no, but the long answer is I'd love to have an intern program where we can bring people on board for a 3-month period. You get have an agenda of things that you will learn at the time that you're with House of On. I just haven't had a chance to implement that, but I may talk to our studio director about doing that. If you are interested in working with House of On, feel free to send your resume to elaine@houseofon.com. Tons of you are asking about my morning routine. I don't know, JP, we might have to do that as a whole separate video.
Yeah.
We'll have to do it as a separate video. Okay, here we go. That's the building we're working on. I love construction sites. Just love them. I love them. Whew. Wow. So this is a really cool project because there are a series of heritage homes that are being gutted and refinished out here in Coquitlam. So in this case, they are renovating, and this looks like this is exactly where the kitchen is going to be. There is a powder room going in right here. Right here in the middle is going to be a dining room. You've got nice big windows and doors that are going to step out onto a patio, which is going to be really lovely. Over here, there's going to be a fireplace, a really nice living room area. So this will be really fun to dress up. I really, really love doing model homes. And then let's go upstairs. Pretty bare bones right now. You can see there's a really nice roof line. So we've got an A-frame roof. Looks like they're reframing upstairs. I mean, there's still a lot of work to be done. I don't know if this is going to be done in 3 months. That sounds short to me. It's going to be a fun little project. Since 2020 changed everyone's lives from working in public to now home settings, do you prefer working in an office setting versus a virtual setting? Well, I have to say, businesses are still open here in Canada. At least they are in BC and in Vancouver. Our numbers have been comparatively low to other parts of the world, so we've been very, very, very fortunate. I do have to say though, I really enjoy working from home sometimes. It's nice to be able to be at home, focus on work, and it's nice to have the mix, to be able to work from home, go to the office, do things like this, come to a site, but I do really enjoy working from home. Mariana from YouTube asks, where do you find the motivation to keep going when things don't go as you want? Well, look, I feel like building a business, building a career, building anything that's worth anything takes time, and it takes a lot of patience. I've always believed in that. I've always believed in hard work and in patience. And so there are lots of days when things don't go as I want them to go. You have to be really committed to your goals. You have to be really committed to your dreams. You have to really be really committed to what you're trying to achieve. And you have to accept that, of course, there's going to be bad days. There's going to be bad weeks. There might even be bad months and bad years. That doesn't necessarily mean you should stop. keep going. It will take time. And sometimes when things aren't going the way you want, that actually might be an opportunity to do some self-reflection, and maybe it's an opportunity to pivot. You have to persevere. Okay, we are back in the office. It has been a full morning. It's noon already. I'm gonna do a couple last questions and then we're gonna close up the vlog. Tessie from YouTube asks, hi Karin, you come across tough but also sensitive. Thank you, and good observation. It's a tough balance. What is your advice to young entrepreneurs on trying to achieve that balance? I think you do have to be very tough in business. You need to have boundaries. You need to know your limitations. You need to set guidelines. You need to say no much more often than you say yes. That's really important. So being tough could be the same as being firm. I also believe in being fair. And one of the ways that I achieve being tough and sensitive is that I'm still a human being, and I recognize that no matter who I'm working with, whether it's someone on my team or a client, for example, we're all human. We all have feelings, we all have emotions, and we all care about different things. So I think being empathetic to other people and where they are at or how they might be receiving what it is that you're saying is really important. Never give up being who you are, but know your boundaries. And I think that's how you achieve being sensitive and tough at the same time. Great question. As the CEO of House of On, how do you ensure every task is completed efficiently? Well, I have to delegate quite a bit, actually. The bigger your team and the more projects that you have on the go, and I don't just mean interior design projects, but it could be other business ventures, stuff like that. The more projects you have on the go, you have to be really good at delegating. So for example, when we take on a new interior design project, I can't be a project manager. I can't be responsible for all the moving parts of that project because I have way too much on my plate. And if I take any sort of project management responsibility on, I guarantee you it's going to fall through the cracks because I just don't have the time for it. So making sure that I delegate high level tasks to my team around me, who then delegate other tasks to the team that they work with, is really important. So learning how to delegate is a really critical attribute to being a great CEO. Oh, this is a good question. What's my favorite time of day? Very first thing in the morning. I love the earlier, the better. If it's 5 a.m., that is my favorite time of day. Getting up in the morning, having a coffee by myself and having a minute, a moment to sort of ease into the day, set an intention. That is my absolute favorite time of the day. Question from YouTube. Do I keep track of what my competitors and other interior design firms are doing to outperform them? That's a great question. To be honest, no. I don't keep track of other interior design firms. Not really. I don't really pay attention to what other people are doing in the industry. I don't believe in that necessarily. I do look at other interior design firms though, and other media firms and fashion firms for tons of inspiration. I want to see what other people are up to. I like to be inspired. I like to see if someone in another firm, maybe in another industry, is doing something exciting and really cool. How can I incorporate that into my own business and my own practice? To me, that is much more rewarding than trying to keep up with the competition to see who's doing what. I'm not really that interested in that. Comparison is the thief of joy. I live and die by that. This is a great question. I love this question. Could you please share any advice for delivering criticism or negative feedback to employees? You have such a great relationship with your employees, and that's something I want to foster with mine, but it's always awkward and uncomfortable correcting others or expressing my displeasure with their work. Okay, Jimmy, great question. I can totally relate to this. Here's the thing with criticism or feedback. It's not personal. and don't make it personal. It should never be personal. Just because someone isn't doing something according to the way that you want them to do it or that you like it to be done, or maybe isn't even correct, that doesn't mean that they're a bad person. It doesn't mean that they are wrong. It doesn't mean that they don't know what they're doing. You don't need to make it about them or their character. In fact, you need to take all of that out of it and just deliver the feedback matter-of-factly. This was your expectation and this is what happened. This is something that could be done better for next time. These are things that you want to watch out for. You really want to just depersonalize it, because as soon as you make it personal, both ways, as soon as you make it about you, you're unhappy, you're dissatisfied, you're disappointed, you're frustrated, all of those emotions, you are going to deliver the feedback in a way that's loaded. And you don't want to do that. Just depersonalize it, take the emotion out of it, has nothing to do with character, and just make it about the facts. If you can do that, you will be able to deliver really great feedback, and the other person on the receiving side will be able to receive it that much better. Okay, on that note, this has been a huge Q&A. I feel like we tackled a ton of questions. I have no idea how we're gonna turn this into a 20-minute video. Thank you so much, everyone, for all of your questions. As always, thanks for watching this video. Definitely leave comments down below. We read them, we respond to them. We love this community that we have on YouTube. If you're not subscribed, take a second to subscribe to the channel. And of course, hit that like button, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.